Hey everyone, welcome to the another episode or the another season of the Ecom Stories with Raja. Previously, the first season was with Tim Jordan and now from and some other industries leaders as well. Today, in the second season, we bring one of the most important guests as the opening episode. His name is Aaron, and I would like if he gonna briefly introduce himself with you guys. And once we're gonna do that, after that we're gonna discuss about the our main topic. Today's topic is how to select a good product, and or maybe the best criteria or top three things or five things to must be having like in the form of like finding a profitable product. So go ahead to you, Aaron. Can you please briefly introduce yourself, like what you did previously, or like how did you commence Amazon business, everything related to so far.
So, I am originally from Venezuela, okay, South America. My mom and dad were kicked out of the country, okay. They were kicked out because they made too much money. And in a country like that, you can't be rich. So, that's somewhat true, actually. This is not even a false story. Anyway, I grew up and here in the United States. My mom raised me really as a single mom. And my mom's name is Zulay, okay. So later on in life, when I decided to start on Amazon, I named my company after my mom. So our company is Zulay Kitchen, right? That's our biggest company that we have. And so I decided at some point, hey, I'm starting a family of my own. I had Luna, who is my first daughter. And I thought, the current job that I had was not enough really for me to thrive as a parent. And so I decided to see how I could, bring a little more value to the world, make some more money, and it turned out to be, Amazon. So I gave Amazon a shot, named the company Zulay Kitchen, because I thought, hey, why don't I work for people like that? People who are cooking in their house, they're raising families, they're working hard, and they deserve to have products that don't break, that do well. And so I decided to start Zulay Kitchen back in around April 2015. That was the first idea, and we started with lemon squeezers, and we sold more stuff, and now we have over 1,000 different SKUs. I think in total we sold over $250 million on Amazon. So we sell, over 10,000 units every day. And shit, I don't know. What else do you want to know?
Cool. So in today's podcast, what we're gonna do, we're gonna discuss about like most of the people's in the industry say that in 2024 Amazon is dead, FBA is dead, and something like that.
Who said that? No, who said that?
People in the industry.
Who's a lot of people? Who? I want to know so I can smack them.
Like, I don't want to name anybody, but there are the many persons, and in my comment box, most of the time I got the queries like, is Amazon still profitable in 2024?
Yeah,
or
questions.
not?
Yes.
Yeah. So these kind of the things usually came up in the people's mind, and my audience is like are those persons who are like about to start the business, and they are thinking about those kind of stuff. So like I'm doing this particular podcast today, so I wanted to ask this particular question in front of that guy who is doing these kind of things from last many years. So I think so. How about having a certified answer from a person like, is 2024 is still profitable, and if yes, so like how do you choose your products, like what are the top 3, 5 or 10 things you're gonna see when you are finding a good product, or how you work usually, like you find the product by your own self, you have team or something like that, or final approval was given by you. So how you actually work, so people gonna know that like how we gonna find or build our business in Amazon at the time when Thrasio filed bankruptcy.
People
are a little bit afraid, so we are here to give those kind of answers, and maybe
awesome.
to for the survival of the industry or the entire this kind of things. So go on.
Okay, so I will say this one thing. I started and myself chose the products, right? Me and my wife, we started the company together, and we helped each other, and we were the decision makers, and I approved every single product before it went live. I was the person approving. There was one point when I lost track of it, and I thought, well, it's not that important, and I'm gonna kind of give it to somebody, and I didn't even know what products we were launching, and that ended up not being a good. So now what we've done, I'm still now approving every single product. However, it's in a hybrid, right? So it's a mix, because what happens is we have a team with our guidelines, and the number one guideline to pick a product is you want to add a product that's actually bringing some sort of value. Bring something new, special to the market. Don't do the same exact thing. Even if you're going to do the same model as somebody else, why don't you add more colors and maybe package it in a way where you can save money on and have the lowest price. So you either need to be special or you need to be the lowest price. Ideally, you could be both. If you could be the special and the lowest price, that would be crazy. But the number one thing is you're bringing value. So another team, like in our company, they work full time to make ideas and product ideas. And then we do like an internal Shark Tank. Okay. So the guys come in and they say, I've been working on this project. This is why I think it's good. Every single pitch that comes to me has to include, why am I excited about this product? We do a Shark Tank like that. And literally sometimes they go, hello Sharks. And it's like me and my wife right now. Hello Sharks. We're here to pitch, the idea. Awesome. And they say, I'm excited about it for this and this and this reason. And we look at it and I go, oh, I like this. No, let's do it this way. Let's do it that way. And I might make decisions there, but it has to come through me and I have to approve it. And so I think that's a good idea for anybody to do, is pitch yourself the product. Why do you like this product? And compare it. Also, if you've only looked at one product ever, you have no real data. If you pitch 10 products to yourself, right? 10 different ideas, well then one will be better than another one, the other one will be better than the other one, and you'll have your top one or top two. If you only look at one product, you go, is this good? Well, that's not the right question. The question is this the best opportunity that I can look at this moment? And if you compare it with 10, 20, 30 different products you've looked at, and you say, this is the best opportunity that I see, I mean, that's a fantastic place to start.
That's really awesome. And let's go deep down with the product research only. So you mentioned that we should go with two things. Number one, something new, or the other thing is like low pricing. I personally believe that we cannot fight on the pricing because at some time, if I'm gonna give a product at $50, or other one gonna give, and it gonna shrink in the profits at certain level, we cannot be. I work with a lot of different brands, and we worked on the basis of ecosystems. Like for example, I'm working with a brand right now, and what they are doing that at the moment, they are just targeting the customers, not the customers, just the newborn baby category only. So everything related to the newborns, like baby bathers, like the baby liners, and everything a mother needs when a baby come into this earth. So they are targeting for maximum 2 years, and that's it. So they are going to create an ecosystem and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of finding the right product as the first product, so what are the top 3 or 5, or maybe if you have more than 5 points, if you're gonna give that these are the 5 bullets which we definitely have in a product when we are going to launch that on Amazon. And the other than that point, I wanted to discuss about something related to the financials of a product, like how the financial of a product gonna be work, like at what percentage we have a price of product, and then the shipment and everything. And Amazon is making a lot of changes in the fees and everything related stuff. So how a seller can survive on that side. So first point is if you're gonna give 3 to 4 points or 5 points for finding the profitable high ROI product, how you gonna choose a product?
So let's back up. There's a lot of questions there, right? But the first one, you made a comment about the price. Okay, I believe you can be the lowest price. I think it's very possible and you can do it. But the only way you can have a low price product is if you figured out that product better than somebody else. What happens, let's say you're going to sell a chair. There is a way for you to have the lowest cost chair person, right? If you do some sort of shipment, you have a very good warehouse, you have a direct factory, you figure out a way to squeeze it, put the parts in a little box, you can win. For example, hula hoops, okay? Hula hoops on Amazon, they're all selling little pieces. At one point, there were the big hula hoops. They didn't sell anything because it takes so much to ship. Somebody ended up cutting them in little pieces and shipping it like that, and then you could glue it. Then that guy started winning, and then everyone started doing that, okay? Because you have to figure out a way to make it smaller. Same with teddy bears, okay? If you can vacuum seal them, you make it smaller than everybody else. If you can make it super thin, right? 1/4 of an inch in size, you get a lower fee by 80 cents, something like that. If you could be the first person to the market with a thinner product, and another place you can be the cheapest is in categories where nobody's thinking about it. See, everybody thinks about kitchen, right? Like a lemon squeezer. Everybody thinks about like a gym equipment, like maybe like some lifting straps or some weights. Everyone thinks about like a clock. But what about something strange, right? What about like car parts, right? What about a car part? Like nobody's thinking with things like that. What about like medical oil to clean your ears, right? What about like a category where people almost will never think about it? For example, a Wi-Fi router. That kind of product is so complicated, people don't even want to try it and they stay away from it. So if you get into a category that people are scared of, like a Wi-Fi router, or something that's like hazardous goods, if it's like a dangerous goods, a lot of people just stay away. But if you're the one who gets into it, that could be fantastic. If you get into a specialty product too, right? Let's say you're going to talk about what's the specialty thing, like construction worker. There might be like a special like little hinge that connects to things that's used in special types of jobs. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you go into like a very small niche, a lot of times there's only 1, 2, or 3 sellers that are even in the market. And those people are not fighting on price. So they might have a product that costs them $1 or $2. They're selling for 20. You could come in, start at 10, and nobody knows about these categories. With the amount of products that are on Amazon, it's very possible to have an offering that is the lowest price, but not in the category that everybody sees. Not in a yoga ball, right? Not in a pair of scissors. You're not going to achieve it there, but you might achieve it in these like niche products. I have a few people that have started brands in very special categories where nobody is there. The competition is almost empty and they all have high prices. Okay, these categories exist. How do you find them? Go around your city. Go walk around and find like some random stuff that somebody needs. Check your order history. Do you have any strange hobbies or anything that's not mainstream, right? A pen, okay, that's mainstream. Everybody uses pens. Okay, that guy has Mr. Penn was just on my podcast, top 20 Amazon seller. Okay, this guy has the lowest prices because he's a genius. Because he could do a $90 million company operating with like 27 employees. He's brilliant. He's smart. Software, all this crazy stuff. He could do it. Maybe you can't, but you probably could do it in a random category like shelves or something, right? Then not everybody's thinking about shelves that you have to assemble, right? Maybe like parts for replacing lights. Anyway, good. So what I'm getting at is find a crazy category that is unknown where there's very little competition, okay? You don't need to make a lot of sales to make money. If you sell 10 units per day, right? You still make $10 on 10 units a day, $100 a day. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's $30,000 in a year. A lot of people around the world can live on that kind of money with a single product. So I would say the 5 things now, moving on to the 5 things. A category that is not saturated, either because it's new or because it's a big niche, like it's very, very like tiny that people don't know about it, right? A perfect example I'm thinking about right now, there's like some measuring cups, like measuring spoons. And I remember I had a big jar. I needed a long measuring spoon. So I haven't sourced this product yet because the volume is pretty small. But a long spoon, there's one person on Amazon selling it. And they sell one single spoon for $20. Okay? That thing costs like $1 to make. So this is a category that has a massive margin. If you came in and did the long spoon, you would win. And that's the category that's in your face, but because it's for a special need and a special person who needs it. Okay? Okay, so a couple things. One, I don't like, ideally you go for a product that costs more than $10, right? Higher is better. Like if you can go after a product that's $500, $300, $1,000, big items, it might be a bigger risk, but there's normally less competition there. A niche, which I talked about, something where you can bring any sort of value, which I talked about. But if everybody on the first page has like a bed sheets, every single person already has 20, 30 colors, you're not going to bring something special by adding 10 colors, 20 colors. But a lot of categories, everybody has one color. When we started Milk Frothers, there was only black. We came out with 4 colors. It did amazing. We keep adding colors. So there's a lot of categories that are not yet disrupted where you can go in and do something special there. The next one. Is there some special manufacturing place that you know of, right? Let's say if you're living in India, right? Or if you know you have some connection, your father, somebody, your cousin, somebody is in some country where you cannot find the product on Alibaba. We have a product that comes out of Mexico that was special because we knew a person who knew some factory. Could we connect that? some place where you have special sourcing. It's not just a regular Alibaba. That's also very good. And the other one, is there anything that you have special knowledge about in a product, right? If you are the you're like a friend of mine is a barber. He cuts hair, okay? He made the best barber thing because he's cut so much hair and he made it special for him that he needed. And now he has a $9 million company, okay? He was also my podcast. Anyway, so there you go. That's 5 things.
That's really awesome. And we're gonna move to our next question, and probably the only left question. So, how do you gonna make the pricing of a particular product, like cost to price ratio? Like, for example, if there's a product which is selling on Amazon for like $30 to $60, they are the different price ranges. So how you gonna make sure that like is this particular product gonna stay profitable, and if I'm gonna source that particular product at $4, $5, $10, $2, at what price you gonna source that, so you're gonna make sure that it's gonna be profitable?
Okay, the number one resource that you need, okay, is called the FBA Calculator. Okay, because if you're like me, like you can find out and measure and this and figure out where it's at. But rather than figure out your product and manufacturer, go to the ASIN, grab the ASIN of whatever product you want to do. If it's $30, put it into the FBA Calculator. Just search, you're logged into Seller Central, search FBA Calculator. You put it in and it'll tell you how much Amazon will pay you if you didn't have any storage, if you didn't pay anything in ads, if you only paid for the product cost. So you put your product cost in there and you see the number. Then you can have to estimate how much shipping costs. So if you're shipping, right, less than a container, right, you're starting out, you should get a shipping rate, a quote up to Amazon from your supplier, divide that into the units that you have. So if it costs you $3,000 to ship, you have 300 units, good, that's $10 each to ship. So you put product cost is to say 30, shipping cost is 10, then you have $50 cost. You put that on the calculator and they'll tell you how much you'll make in one unit. Now, at the bare minimum, okay, at the bare minimum, your margin should be 10%, okay? Now, probably that's pretty low, and most people don't want to have that margin. However, the truth is, if you take the lowest person on the page, who's the cheapest, and you can make 15% per profit on it after your costs, possibly that's somewhere you want to start. And you lower your price even more, you make a 5% margin on that main product, but then you have variations with different colors, different sizes, because in regular retail stores, they do what's called the doorbuster, where they have one product in the front of the store, in the back of the store, somewhere that's really, really cheap. It gets them into the door, and you don't make money on that product, but you make money on the other products related to it, or the other products in your store. So if you could do one variation, okay, so you see the product in black, okay, the black, everybody loves black, so maybe that one you put it a little bit higher, but you make a special one that's, let's say, green or red or something like that. And that one you actually make lower than everybody on the page. They can come into that product. You have the very lowest price period. You bring them in. But then if 10, 20, 30, 40% of people buy the other colors, buy the other ones at a higher price, they came in through the cheap click, and then they bought a higher priced item. That allows you to have margin even though you're also the lowest price on the page. So you play with that pricing structure. But I would say, if you're not going to have a 10% margin, it's very likely for you not to want to source that product. Also, realize if you can win and you say, hey, this product has 30% margin, 35% margin, 40% margin, it doesn't mean you should start at that price. You should be the lowest price when you're starting out. And as if you see, whenever the new sellers come in and they're putting pressure on guys who are already been selling for a long time, it's almost always they have a very low price. That's how people get into the market. And the reason I'm saying that, and the reason that's a smart job, is because these guys are just outworking you, because they don't mind making 10, 20%. And if they're making 10, 20% and their company's doing fine, they forget about that product because they're not going to lose their space at the lowest price, and they go to the next product. So what happens is too many people are trying to make sure that one product funds their entire business, all their employees, their future, their kids' universities, and their whole life, everything for one product. No. You might have to lower your price, but if you can lower your price a little bit and still make some money, then that's pretty good.
That's cool. I just got one question in my mind, and that is related to the value and our calculations. So, for example, you mentioned that on the FBA calculator, we're just gonna put the ASIN and we're gonna see that like what kind of a margins we have. So
If
the
you have your product cost and your shipping cost, yes, an
so
estimate.
the calculator is gonna give us some kind of the details in the form of like calculations. So
Yep.
we are getting the calculations for those products which like everyone is selling, and they are just bringing that from China and just they are selling that. They are not doing any kind of a development. They are not doing any kind of the value addition. But for example, if I wanted to source a product, so I go to the China, for example, or somebody. So I'm gonna say that like this is the product, this have right now this much burning problem, I wanted to solve this problem in our
Sure.
product by giving the value. But once I'm going to do that, so that supplier gonna say that like this is not our normal work, we need to took special initiative to build that kind of a product, a solution
That's
based
true.
product. So for that they're gonna definitely gonna charge me a little higher price. So at that stage, how I'm gonna compete with that guy who was giving the lower price product and I'm gonna giving a higher value product? So there will
So,
be a conflict.
okay, typically, when you're going to create a mold, right? Normally, the cost that you have is normally not more a unit cost. It's not that the product costs you more. It's actually that you have to make the mold that will create that product. So that's a one-time cost. You have to understand that. Fine, if this product can sell for 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years profitably, one-time cost, you can almost ignore it. I know it's maybe like, oh my gosh, no, but the truth is, if your product's going to look better, if it's going to be either smaller, have a less fee, or it's going to solve a problem better, your only additional cost should be that mold, okay? And that's it. That's a one-time cost. You have to assume, forget about it. Don't pretend your unit cost is higher. No, that's a one-time fee, and now you're going to compete with that other cost, and you don't want to have a higher cost. Unless you do something very special, right? And that's the thing. People find it easy to say, okay, I'm going to go and make this mold and put all this cost. Why don't you first find a supplier who does the item that's on Amazon, get their catalog, because most factories, just like us here, okay, they're working on their next products and they have items that have never hit the United States market. And you can ask them, I want to try out this product and it's never hit the market. Don't pay for a mold in that case because they already have it. Rather than you try to invent something, you've never invented something in your life. If you're listening to this, it's your very first product on Amazon and you're going to try to do a mold. I know several people who have put their mold for their very first product and it's failed miserably. Now they lost the mold cost, they lost their first product, and they're out. Why don't you instead work with a factory who has made inventions for decades and ask them, I'm going to take model XYZ101. I'll be the first person to hit it to Amazon. What's your price? A lot of times, maybe their new product, they might charge less for it. So I don't suggest a person make a mold on their very first product. Almost never, unless they're coming from an industry or, they're engineer or something. You can make a product if you feel like. But most of the time, if you go to a trade show, okay, Chicago Houseware Show, it just happened. This is for my industry. But there's all these shows for electronics products out in Vegas. There's shows everywhere. If you go to these shows, the brands will show you their new stuff. Cool. But there's also factories there often, and they will have products that are new that have never hit the market. They've already paid the mold cost. So I would suggest go find that, okay? If you want to get into the space of selling a clock, go to some clock supplier. They probably have pages and pages and pages of different clocks, and only 1 or 2 models have hit Amazon. So go do a survey, go to Intellivi or go to PickFu, okay? Pay $30-$50 and show an image of the old clock that's on Amazon, who's number 1, and the factory's newer model, one of dozens or hundreds of models, and go until the new model wins on visually. Make that model. It won't cost you more. You don't have to pay a mold cost, and you can be the first person to make that big in the United States.
Yeah, 100% that doesn't gonna make me more cost. But maybe still there is a point in that, like after 6 months, 3 months, as that they are going to produce more and more products. So I may be gonna see a future competition. Once, like for example, if I have a product, that factory makes that for the first time, so I'm gonna get the first mover advantage. But once I'm gonna crack that, so maybe there is some competition just following me. But with the help of some reviews and having acquiring the higher number of market share, maybe I'm gonna beat them. But that definitely gonna follow me.
Exactly. They will follow. This guaranteed. We're in an industry, this e-commerce thing, where everyone is copying everybody. Okay? Any product you're going to make now, even if you patented it, you have a 25-year patent protection. People will make a product around that patent. They'll make something similar. You will be copied always, all day. Rather than say, oh, I hope no one copies me. No, embrace it. Say, I will be copied. I'll be the first person to market. I'll make as much as I can the first year and continue. And that will make my product better. Because if a product makes you money, your job as a business owner is to take that money and invest to improve the product and to continue to be ahead of everybody. You take one win and then you reinvest. I now have, in Zulay, we have, let's say, I think 5 different patents around frothers. Okay, our frothers are our bestseller. We're going to take money from that and invest into better ones, longer lasting, better motor, better whisk, better shape, better color. We're going to invest into it because it paid us. Now we're going to pay back the community by improving the product. If you look at what Apple did, they made the iPod, the iPod with the music. They made a bunch of money, but guess what happened? They didn't just say, hey, I'm continuing to make money. Oh no, competition has come and there's another person with an MP3 player. That's not what they did. They took that money and they said, no, we're going to come out with the iPod Touch. We're going to come out with the iPhone. We're going to come out with the iPad. We're going to come out with They're taking their money from the first win and they're improving the product. They're giving back to the people that paid them by giving them a better product over and over. And that's a mentality that you have to have. People will copy me, so you want to be ahead of them by the time they get to where you were 2 years ago. If you didn't move, your product's the same, they're going to copy you and probably they'll make an even a better product. So you better be on your ass and move because there will be people that copy you. That's part of the business.
Cool. So I think so that's it for today's session, Aaron. And thank you so much for coming on the show. And hopefully soon we're gonna have some multiple episodes. And we're gonna soon this show gonna be air. And hopefully people gonna like. And if I got some questions, so for the second interview, I'm gonna put that kind of a question in front of you from the public. So once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. And it's really nice talking with you.
Awesome, thank you. So Aaron Cordovez, guys, I got the podcast. Follow me. I'm doing a new thing right now. I'm building out a course on picking the product. That what I'm talking about in this podcast, I've been doing it. Okay, from last year. I'm just launching my product now, and that's going to be a whole big case study. So, guys, follow me, subscribe, and you're going to hear more about all of this and watching products
all the
for myself.
Details like the Aaron channels and follow-up links. In the detail, so anybody who want to contact for the course or maybe other things or follow Aaron, so just go to the description, so all the information will be there.
Awesome, thanks you, Raja.
Cool.
Great questions, by the way. I appreciate you inviting me to your show.